Dun 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 dun.
Ding! Oh,
That was really great. Someday I'll get the intro music,
Oh
but
my
now
God.
that's how that goes. What's up? My name is Maudalorian. You are watching Maudalorian for recaps of The Mandalorian on Geek Bomb here. Joining us as always, we've got Leo, who does social media for Geek Bomb and also runs Geekly Goods. You should check out his site and the YouTube. But also joining us, we've got author Preeti Chhibber, who I know personally as, I'm calling her the unofficial Star Wars expert of all cute creatures. Because I remember when we were at the same screening for Rise of Skywalker, and your Babu Frick obsession just blossomed then and there.
He's so cute. Babu Frick is like the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Barring, that's not true because everything is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life, including Baby Yoda, which we will get to.
But name change for that one.
Do we? I don't know.
Ooh.
It's hard. It's gonna be hard to change that habit. Like, let's be real here.
Just the cute ones. The ugly ones can all die in a ditch.
No!
Well, wow.
Yeah.
Talk about going in right off the top.
First of all, cute is in the eye of the beholder.
That is true. That is true. I mean, I don't hate Banthas. They've got their own thing going that I'm not mad about.
I feel like they're cute all in their own way.
Yeah.
Each one.
Do we do it? Do we just come out and talk about the fact that Baby Yoda's got a new name and weigh in on it?
Grogu! New name!
So it's like the devolution of Goku?
Yeah, right? I'm like, is it like Dragon Ball Z or what?
I just feel like they're trying. I feel like I said this on Twitter, but I'm like, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are gonna like pull Baby Yoda, like the name Baby Yoda, from my cold dead hands. Like, sorry.
First it's the child, now it's Grogu. What's it gonna be next week?
That's the thing. It's like, I feel like we should have had an indication of a name because we have now latched on so much, and it's been too long that we've Baby Yoda'd. And then the child from episode 1, and like I thought it was a really cruel marketing thing where hashtag Baby Yoda, nothing. Hashtag the child, boom, emoji would pop up. And you're like, stop trying to make the child work, Disney. It's never going to take. And now Grogu. So tell us in the comments right now, what are you thinking about Grogu? It's not going to Grogu.
That's perfect.
Hot trash. Okay.
It's not gonna Grogu on me is the best thing I've read all day.
Go Grogu. We'll Grogu. Wait, I think I've got a tongue twister. Will Grogu grow?
Will Grogu grow?
Okay, will Grogu grow soon?
Will Grogu grow?
Nah. I'm still gonna be calling Baby Yoda. Let's be real.
This is
Yiddle
super
yaddle.
inappropriate. Like, I do apologize. This is super inappropriate. But like 6 years ago when I was doing a Star Wars podcast, it is Star Wars related, but I found the best tongue twister ever. And I'm embarrassed because it's a little crude, but 100% you cannot say it 3 times fast.
What is it?
I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. But Sith pussy.
Nope.
Can't say it 3 times fast.
Nope.
I don't need that soundbite on the internet.
But like, yeah, I said that somehow in context, and realized that saying that again was really impossible. But I do apologize for that one. But that is like, context aside and what it means aside, the actual vernacular and like how to say that, impossible. It is harder than red lorry, yellow lorry. Yeah. Sorry, Luther. I know. I never talk about this kind of stuff unless I'm right. Yeah, this is my audience. This is on point.
Clutch my pearl.
This is a great point to talk about though with the wrestling hound.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can do, I usually try to, but I always forget, do what does this means and future kind of predictions for it. But what's been really interesting is that we've known next to nothing about Baby Yoda freaking Grogu.
Grogu.
Just that he was rescued, he was used for experiments, and his blood was precious in the experiments, and that he's around 50. But that's kind of it. And now we've got his name, the fact that he was taught by many Jedi at the Jedi Academy. He was removed from the Academy, and then there's a darkness and a shadow that he's like trying to heal from emotionally, really. So a lot of things happening within this timeline. 50 years before that, what is happening? When did Order 66 was it executed? And when were the younglings executed?
I think it'd be about 50-ish years. Maybe not quite 50, but I mean, Ahsoka's like what, in her 40s at this point? It would have to be between like 30 and 45 years ago when Order 66 happened.
Like that, right? Like we've got the like Mando takes place somewhere in the 5-ish to 10-ish years post Return of the Jedi, right? And at the end of Jedi, Luke is like 20, 30, 25, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's about 25 to 30 years, I think, post.
After the fact.
That would be my guess. Post, like 25 to 35 years post Order 66.
So this is it. So how long was he in the academy for? Since obviously Yoda years are, 50 and a toddler, as Nathan's saying. Youngling is a training stage. I don't know if he would have been in that level of training.
I know, he seems very, very young.
Right.
Very, very, like he would have been there around 25-ish years.
Like barely crawling. He moves so slow now. Imagine back then.
Waddle. He waddles.
He yiddle yaddles around, okay?
That's where yaddle came from. The yiddle yaddle. The yaddle waddle?
The yiddle yaddle yaddle, like waddle.
Okay, you have Yoda. You have Yoda and you have Yaddle. Why couldn't you just make him Yiddle? Like at this point, or give him a Y name?
He's Grogu.
Yiddle. Okay, yeah, everyone in the chat, find a better name than Grogu. Maud's a better name than Grogu. I hate Maud.
Waddle.
Yaddle.
Oh dear.
What, somebody said, yeah, that's a crazy comment. Grogu's the same age as Anakin.
Anakin.
Oh.
The fact that they could have been buds? No.
Well, Anakin's like, no. Anakin's like, I don't hang out with babies.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, little Grogu looked super uncomfortable and out of place at the school last episode.
Right.
Yodel.
Yodely.
Yeah, right? Oh my god. Grogu yodeling. What I really like about this episode, though, is that usually like the build-ups take a while. But in this instance, boom.
Right away.
The question was, will we, won't we? Are we going to see Ahsoka? How are we going to see Ahsoka? How about straight away?
Like immediately.
What I want to hear from you guys is, what did this remind you of?
A little bit of the beginning of Rise of Skywalker, just a little, because that little forest scene where Kylo Ren is like tearing through the drones. It kind of reminded me of that, but man,
is that the Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker?
I think that was Rise, wasn't it? Like where he's at the beginning, like tearing through guys.
I thought that was the Last Jedi.
I think it's Last.
Oh, was it Last Jedi when he's looking for the Sith Manticore? That's in Last Jedi. I thought that was.
Now I
thought that was Rise of Skywalker.
Look, here's the thing: is that there's a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah, for real.
Turns out, I mean, to me, this was just emblematic of Ahsoka. This was pure, complete Ahsoka. It is Ahsoka in Rebels. It is Ahsoka in Clone Wars, and it was a natural progression. It was just, I feel like I've been waiting so long to see this character in live action and I feel like they did such a good job that it fits seamlessly in her arc, and it didn't feel like awkward or strange at all for her to make the jump from animation to live action.
Not at all.
That was my question. So obviously Ahsoka Tano was voiced quite famously by Ashley Eckstein, and it was this thing where it's like, does she look enough like Ahsoka Tano, who is a Togruta, which is, an alien race here. For those that don't know the backstory with Ahsoka Tano, this is her character in Clone Wars when she is
snips.
Yeah. And then she grows up, and this is her in Rebels, where she has a full-on arc as well, and has matured big time. So trying to get an actor to look like that.
So well done. And she feels so mature. Like, she feels like, I almost want to call her Master Ahsoka at this point. Like, she feels like she's gotten to that point where she's mastered her lightsaber battling, and even just as a character, she just feels so much more grounded and so much more controlled. Like, she just feels like the Ahsoka that we've all been wanting to finally see. Like, we have to see her live action. We got to see her as an adult, and this is it.
Yeah.
So well done.
I agree with you. I think that's what was an interesting thing for me, is to parallel her from who we saw in Rebels when she's like, I'm no Jedi. That is not who I am. Even in E.K. Johnston's amazing Ahsoka book, a lot of this, she has all this, so good, by the way. She has this like internalized sort of angst about where she fits and who she is and how does she define herself. And in this, she feels there was no kind of hesitation on her part when Mando shows up with this kid to train. There's no hesitation in respect to, does she have the authority to do so? And I thought that was really nice, like a nice progression.
Except at the end where she's just like, I can't train him. I thought that okay, cool. It sounds like we need to talk about this, because that didn't feel like a natural character fit. I thought that at Ahsoka's stage, even though she's gone through a lot, the fact that she's found a Jedi, and when there's so few of them, and she's by herself and she's targeted, and I just thought, is she protecting this child by sending it away, or does she just realize there's just no connection and she's just not the one the Force is choosing for their paths?
Well, this brings up a bigger question, doesn't it? And it brings up the question, is she a Jedi anymore?
No.
You know, I mean, she's not after Rebels, after seeing her, you know, diverge from that path. I think her not taking in the child was a recognition of that. Like, I'm not a Jedi. I'm not the one qualified to train him in the Jedi ways. And she already had recognized in him that he is a little too attached to Mando, and I just don't think she's the perfect fit and the perfect person to kind of help progressively make that better. Like, I just don't think she was the one, and she recognized that.
I don't know. I think it has so much to do with her trauma. I think if you look at the end of Clone Wars, the last season that aired earlier this year, that last episode where we get to see kind of the end of Revenge of the Sith from Ahsoka's perspective is so intense and so heartbreaking. And I brought up E.K. Johnston's book because it takes place just after all of that. And it's so much, when I say like trauma, I mean like intensive trauma. I think she says that, right? Where she says it's, she's seen what that level of attachment can do to somebody. And in her head, it's Anakin is the end, and this is post her knowing that Anakin had become Vader, like, and all of that. And so she's bringing all this baggage to it. So it absolutely fell in character for me, because we've seen how traumatized she's been by the Jedi.
Oh, McReese,
exactly.
Perfectly said. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense for me.
100%.
Thank you very much. I like Stephen Summers' suggestion as well, because there's different types of trainers, and I think that this is what's and training styles. And you know, we spent Leo a couple of episodes ago talking about, and this is what Dave Filoni, he actually made prequels good for me because of this explanation of why Anakin Skywalker went to the dark side and how it probably wouldn't have happened if Qui-Gon Jinn trained him, but because it was Obi-Wan Kenobi and his detachment and more regimented sort of training style and didn't have enough nurture, that's why Anakin was able to go to the dark side and be swayed by it. And just like that lack of sort of love in a way, where Qui-Gon was willing to break rules for the sake of love. So yeah, I think that Kyle Katarn being a really good sort of Jedi master to Yoda, that's a Grogu. That's a Grogu. I mean, what would Yoda be like? Well, Yoda just passed on, so it wouldn't be. But like, let's say, what if Yoda and Grogu training? Have you ever seen Tim's room before? It would just be like ping pongs.
Toss the pebble back and forth with our lightsabers.
Toss a pebble, you shall. I would rather see a Mandalorian Baby Yoda than a Jedi one. So that's another interesting point that I want to go into, and we'll talk a little bit more about the fact that kind of at the beginning you see these two pairing up, and even what am I going to call him his name? No, he's Mando.
Mando.
Yeah, right. This is the thing. It's too late. But Mando being like, "Wow, really? A Jedi and a Mandalorian teaming up? Who'd have thought?" That history coming into it as well. So, the question that I have for you guys and for everyone watching is: it feels like to me that Jon Favreau got the access to do The Mandalorian, and the first season was just kind of like building the world and telling kind of bit piece stories. Leo knows very adamantly just my feelings on the fact that it feels really episodic, and it's still happening with cameos, but it feels like Jon Favreau is writing a campaign, like a tabletop campaign, where it's like Mando enters, look around the room, you see someone wearing Mandalorian armor, approach, cool. Oh, it turns out that he'll give you the armor back if you take care of quest. All right, cool. And it's been playing out like that quite a bit. But now that Dave Filoni's kind of not only in episodes, but behind the camera, he's now saying, we have so much story, and I have done seasons of story that's taken place with brilliant characters. I am telling Star Wars as a storyteller the closest to George Lucas that anyone has attempted to yet. Let me bring in my work that I've done, and let's expand on it in a live action format. And that's what we've seen in this episode, where it didn't feel as formulaic, even though we did have two simultaneous sort of duels going on, one in melee, one in pistol duel.
Standoff.
Yeah, loved it. But we're now getting characters like Ahsoka Tano. We're getting mentions of Thrawn. And we are, so it's like, I feel like Dave Filoni's being handed the keys. Finally. Are you excited about that? Do you agree with that? Are you seeing the differences already between season 1 and season 2 and the first 4 episodes and where we're going?
Yeah, what's interesting is I think this is going to be super divisive, because I think there were a lot of people who came into The Mandalorian who didn't watch Clone Wars or Rebels, and so they don't have that history, and they don't have that connection to these characters. And prior to this episode, even with the Bo-Katan episode, I think it was super easy to enter in, even if you've never seen it. This episode, and with Ahsoka Tano clearly being of significance to the plot, and clearly having that Thrawn admission, which was such a jaw drop, like, I think is going to be divisive for people who are excited about something that was truly its own thing and separate from the massive story. But on the other hand, I don't know that that's a fair expectation for something that takes place so close to stories we already know and deeply connected to stories we already know. So, like, I'm excited about it because I've been watching Ahsoka Tano for like a decade or whatever. So, like, right. I'm psyched. But, like, I can understand how some people are probably a little more frustrated.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I mean, I don't want to skip that comment there. Setting up spin-off shows if they are all this.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, and I think throwing Thrawn in there is basically like, okay, we got season 3. There's a little bit of pathway there. Like, I don't think we're going to throw Thrawn in the next episode, but who knows? Maybe he'll be at the beginning. But I think that's setting up for season 3. And you bring up a good point. It's going to be divisive, but I almost feel like it's going to drive people to go watch Clone Wars, to go watch Rebels, to like really tie the knots that they have missed out on. I mean, at least to see some Ahsoka stuff and just to understand where things are going, because I kind of expected this to happen, like the threads to start kind of crawling in slowly. And I like that we got Ahsoka right off the bat, but I feel like that might be the only one we're going to get just like right off like that. And then the rest are going to kind of creep in.
Yeah, but the key with like Rebels and Filoni's story is that it didn't end, right? Like, there's no closure. I've been looking for frickin' Ezra Bridger for years.
Oh my God! Wow.
And Luther makes a great point here. Don't get me started. Look, if Thrawn is back,
Ezra.
Give me Ezra and Sabine.
What's happening? When are we going to get those? So this is what is exciting as a Star Wars fan, where it's like, let's start fan casting for Ezra. Let's start fan casting for Sabine.
Yes.
It's possible to have these actors, to these characters brought to life by actors. In saying this, though, I've got to do it. Now that we're talking about Thrawn, I'll do a little bit of a backstory with Thrawn. Thrawn was actually originally an expanded universe character. So this was someone who was in what is now called Legends. Yeah. And what's happened is, I guess it's Dave Filoni as well, who's like being given more and more creative license. He's been such a Star Wars fan from what feels like day one, but like not a fan, a diabolical dictionary in a way.
Right.
Knows it. Yeah. And he's just gone, this is a great character. Like, I wish he kind of did it with Mara Jade, but like it doesn't fit into the timeline. But I love
God, that'd
Mara
be awesome.
right? Like, but like that ship sailed, literally the ship. I shipped it. But Thrawn was a character from the expanded universe that Dave Filoni's just plucked and went, no, that's too good. I know we wiped the slate clean, but I get to choose and pick some of the stuff that can work and that will work, and that is Admiral Thrawn. I have the book somewhere behind me. They have been writing, Timothy Zahn, I believe, has been writing Thrawn books, kind of fleshing out this character. And the fact that it was written and then it showed an appearance in Rebels here, wondering, we've got to have this character be brought to life. So I want to ask everyone here and you guys, fan cast Thrawn for me.
Thrawn.
Oh, man. Yeah. I'm like, that's a heavy fan cast right there.
I think Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, Michael
That'd be
Fassbender
cool.
would be really good.
I would like that.
I'm like locked onto that.
I feel like not now, because I don't know what he's doing, but like early 2000s, like Stuart Townsend.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, because he's kind of got. Sorry, Stuart, but he's kind of got that coldness.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think he would have.
Who was he married to or going out with?
He was a Charlize Theron, right?
Was it Charlize or Nev or something? Yeah.
I don't remember.
Something like that.
Dang, I like that Michael Fassbender now. Like, that's all I can imagine. I'm like, oh, man.
Especially with that Magneto vibe,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
But blue with red eyes. Sure.
Mads Mikkelsen. Ooh. David Tennant. I like Mikkelsen. That'd be cool.
Well, yeah, his brother voices it.
Thrawn Bender.
Someone says, what if Mara Jade trains Grogu? Oh, where is she?
Oh, my God. Well, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, Gallon TCP, let's chat about this. How else is Thrawn integrated in this? Thrawn is an admiral. Like, he's high up. The fact that we've got Morgan Elspeth, who is this one. So we're learning a little bit more about how the Empire is building resources. I mean, this is a big thing that they do. They need to have supplies to build Death Stars and the likes, and Starfleets and Star Destroyers and all that kind of stuff. So they'll basically inhabit a planet that has resources. They will mine the shit out of it. And as it was explained in this episode, they plunder. And she's doing it with an absolute lack of empathy, where it's just all take, no compassion. It's a cold leadership. And to say that she's working for Thrawn, huge. But who else? Like, let's just say this is a chess game. Who are the other Thrawn pawns?
Thrawn pawns.
The Thrawn pawns. I mean, it would be cool if, like, Thrawn was, like, the guy to, like, kind of reconstruct the Empire, and, like, Gideon was helping him through making those dark troopers. Like, that would be pretty tight.
And how does he pull it to the First Order? Like, because that's what's happening right now, right? We're leading up to this building of the First Order, and so how does this all fit together is the question. Like, does Thrawn know about the Emperor's plans?
But this is such a Thrawn thing to do as well, though. Like, he would be designated with, I want resources. I want you to build an army. I want you to find it. I don't care how you do it. Do it. So the fact that they are, extracting blood from a child to build clones, the fact that they are obliterating planets just to suck it and bleed the planets dry for resources. Like, Thrawn is so brilliant, but he doesn't understand empathy or compassion. Right. He understands getting the job done at whatever cost, because he's good at his job. That's what's really frightening about him.
What if they made Bryan Cranston into Thorn? You reunite him and Esposito back together in some way.
planets just keep getting blown up.
We're making a lot of assumptions about Thrawn though, because the end of Rebels, we see Ezra and Thrawn go off together. How long have the two of them been kind of? How long were the two of them like isolated and forced into this companionship together? Like I would wonder what the impact of the Rebels finale is on the character we know.
Yeah, because we're seeing the impact of Ahsoka's.
Exactly.
The implication of Ahsoka during that part. Stephen Summers, Thrawn could have left the Empire after he failed in Rebels and is doing his own thing. There is apparently some big bad enemy that Chiss people like to fight. Oh,
that'd be cool.
Thrawn's like, peace, I'm out.
Whatever he does, he's going to do it brilliantly. Like, the guy can't fail, really. Like, even though that was just a life lesson. These two are going to team up?
No! No!
I definitely think like a team up would be kind of cool though. Like if Ezra was like his right hand guy, and then that would be kind of cool to like set it up to where we had these expectations for Ezra at the beginning of Rebels, and it ended up being like, you know, we kind of have another maybe Anakin situation here, something where we expected him to go down the right path and he didn't. Could be a nice twist.
Ooh.
That would like hurt my. That would hurt my heart real bad.
What we're starting to see is everyone who is good. Ahsoka.
You, Lori.
Oh, yeah, right.
You, Lori.
It's got those house vibes happening. Yeah, so many good people. Anakin, super powerful, chose the dark side. Ahsoka had so much potential, no longer a Jedi. Ezra, you know, was like this kind of positive, happy-go-lucky kid, you know. So it's like, it's really interesting to see just how influential the dark side can be. Who was truly good? Leia? Luke?
Although, but isn't it the fallibility of the Jedi too that comes into this? Like, it is this notion of a failure. Like Anakin, as in my opinion, is a failure of both sides. He was doomed from both ends.
Right.
Matt Smith.
Okay.
Don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
Don't hate it. Heading back to the story, because a lot happened and we are going through it. I really quickly want to touch upon Ahsoka's life.
Yes.
So cool.
Oh, man.
She has white sabers. And the story behind that is that she defeated I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't seen it. She defeated someone high up. They had red lightsaber. I believe it was just one, maybe two lightsabers. She cleansed the red kyber crystal using the Force, which changed the red saber to white. But I really like the fact that this design, the curved blade, is actually what Count Dooku had, and therefore Asajj Ventress, in his likeness, created that sort of curved blade. So I've always been really obsessed with like the lightsaber and the look and the design of them. This is beautiful and sleek, and it looked so lightweight. Like she has them clipped basically to her utility belt. What was it like seeing, because like 2 episodes ago we had the mention of the dark saber and now we've got a white saber. Like, what is this like expanding this side of the universe?
That face. It was I was actually nervous about how they were going to be able to show Ahsoka fight, how Ahsoka fought in the series. And then they did it. Like,
yeah,
it looked...
I loved that.
Right?
I was like, this is Filoni's episode. You know he knows his character when the movements are the exact same as they would be in the Clone Wars.
And then turned it to face out.
Yes. And she's got such a distinct style that we really don't see out of other Jedi. And it's not this 2 lightsaber style that you typically see where they kind of have it facing forward. It's more of like a one's to the side, one's in defense. And it's just this really cool samurai-like style. And he just translated it perfectly. Live action.
Oh, all of it. The elasticity she brings to it, because like that last fight scene in Clone Wars, where it was like that epic fight scene between her and Maul, which was so cool, and they did through mocap and all that stuff. I was like, how are they going to do this in live act? Like how? They did.
Perfectly done.
Mick Reese, aren't those her rebel sabers? Yes. Yep. So in Clone Wars, she had a green one, and then it went to blue.
There were 2 blue by the end of the season.
By the end of it.
I can't even remember because it was a green and a blue one, and somehow she ended up getting a blue. I can't remember.
Well, Anakin gifts her those sabers in the oh, my heart.
Oh man, that episode was just. Oh my god, talk about breaking our hearts like on the last episode we thought at the time, like gosh, man.
It's interesting. Steven says, I love that the fighting style was right. Nathan says, I don't think the fighting was perfect. I thought the fighting wasn't perfect. And then Nick saying Rosario must have trained forever. The fight was phenomenal.
And what I liked about the fighting style here is it wasn't as sporadic as you see in the beginning of Clone Wars. She seemed so controlled, so it was easy for her. Like she can move around, disarm the woman that she was fighting. It was really like easy and graceful.
This is Rebels style Ahsoka fighting, where she knows her body, she knows how to move it. Like that's what this was.
So hitting all the points, something that we haven't really touched upon here is our mate Mando being tasked to figure out
our
little dude. And
Grogu!
In the meeting that we had, it was super interesting to see that we are now seeing Grogu have training for the first time. Obviously, like we have no idea how powerful he can be. He seems to be like in his little stubborn phase. But this is like we've had a fighting scene, and now we're kind of getting into that really heartfelt moment. What did you guys think about this scene? Yeah,
it's cute, but it's dangerous, and it definitely spells out that Baby Yoda has potential to be just as bad as Vader. I mean, that having that connection like that can be dangerous for somebody who wants to be a Jedi, but it's also like brings in a question somebody asked earlier: will he go Mando Grogu? Like, will it become like, okay, instead of being a Jedi, keep suppressing your abilities, and I'm going to teach you how to be a Mandalorian? That'd be cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that is actually a very interesting way that the story could go versus going kind of back into the familiar territory that we know.
Yeah, we've explored the Jedi for so long. Poor Grogu, the little guy, suffers from PTSD.
Yeah, seriously, though, he is traumatized. He's faced trauma. And that's what Ahsoka was saying when they had their little connection. She's like, he's riddled with fear. He's too attached to you, which can be exploited and used against him. And he's like, I'm not able to train him because he's just not open to that. And because, of her, I don't think she's got the ability. She thinks she's got the ability to do it. Whatever it was. We've got little fun facts.
Morai.
On the tree branch. There were also is it the Loth cats?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So apparently I'm not just on Lothal, or just kind of all over the galaxy.
They must get in ships. That's why they're everywhere.
Invasive species.
This is interesting, Nathan, actually. There's a reason why they're trained from such a young age.
Yeah, to disconnect them. It hurts.
And see, that's what is kind of wrong with the Jedi a little. Like, it's like they rip people away from being able to be attached, to have loved ones. Like, that's kind of wrong.
There are a lot of things that I think the Jedi made decisions about. I'm interested to see kind of, Star Wars is now releasing the High Republic stuff that's coming out that takes place like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years before. Claudia Gray, Daniel Jose Older, Justina Ireland, Charles Soule, and I think maybe one other person that I'm forgetting. But there's a ton of like books and comics coming out that we're going to get to see what the Jedi were like prior to the breaking and prior to being so close to the end and resurgence, I guess, which I think is going to be fascinating to see how they became, like how they got to where they were for the prequels.
That'll be cool. That's going to erase so much legend stuff. Bye-bye, legends!
Listen, canon is fake. Whatever you want. It's all in your head.
Luther, I'm curious to see if they're going to explore Force connections and how Grogu's bond will affect Mandalorian. Yeah. I think that, I don't know, it started getting, personally, the storytelling was getting a little stale, especially like the start of season 2. I was like, come on. And we get so few episodes that it's like, I kind of wish we had this. I kind of wish that Bo-Katan was episode 1 and then this was happening episode 3 and that we could just have a lot more momentum. Am I being selfish? Probably.
Listen,
like,
I wouldn't give up Timothy Oliphant in the Star Wars canon for anything.
For real. What a guy, huh?
I do think that we're coming up on something very interesting because I loved how Ahsoka was like, we're going to give him a choice. We're going to give Grogu a choice. And so having Grogu go to this temple with Mando and have to essentially decide is not something we frequently see among the Jedi. It's often the other way around. Like the Force is going to decide whether or not you're the one, not you get to choose whether or not what path you're going to go down. Because the Jedi, as a construct, we're like, oh, you have the Force, you're going to come train with us.
So what are, like, with this whole choice, what are his options? It just seems like there's so few. Like, it's not like he can choose his plethora of trainers. Masters.
No. Oh, for in terms of, well, this would be, I mean, there's Luke, which is not going to happen.
He's drinking green milk out of a titty.
Not yet. Not yet. He's still, I think at this point in time, he's still rebuilding.
Yeah, he's training a few. So he'll be with Kylo, maybe Kylo.
Yeah, Ben Solo might be there, depending upon when this takes place.
Fan cast Ben Solo.
Baby Ben Solo. Who is he?
Baby Ben.
Timothy Chalamet. A little too old, but
do not speak that into existence.
Oh man.
I like this. Thierry's bringing like a D&D because I think that this feels like a D&D campaign. I've said that quite clearly. I would class Ahsoka as a dual wielding in the D&D party. I like that. What's Grogu then? He would be like, what? Your little wizard?
There's the like secretive halfling.
Ooh. Ezra, what?
Ezra Kyle?
Ezra.
Who is that?
Ezra and Kylo?
Ezra Kylo. What Luke is doing. Ben's only 5 or 6. Thank you, Miss McReese, for keeping us on our time.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, but Ezra could depend. I mean, we don't know where Ezra is. We know because Ahsoka is still searching for Thrawn. Clearly, there has been some talk of him. So Ezra could exist in the capacity of potential master. Like, we don't know. If Ezra Bridger shows up in this show, I will lose my mind.
I think I might scream just as loud, maybe a little louder as I did for Ahsoka.
I would freak out.
Level 1 wizard. Oh, man. Dang.
He's a quarterling.
Cute.
Not a halfling. He's a quarterling. Oh, that's really cute. And of course, Freddie Prinze can show up as a Force ghost because that just happens all the time.
I was thinking maybe Obi-Wan would show up to connect the Kenobi show in.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Little drop in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's actually quite interesting. Sebastian
yeah, because that side by side of the two of young Mark Hamill and him, they do look quite alike.
They do look alike. Sebastian Stan's
everyone's
like
getting hot. Hot Ron. Hot Luke.
Luke's already hot. Rahul Kohli for Ezra. There are rumors of Ezra being South Asian, which I'm super down for, but also I'm going to do a shout out, like, my older brother's an actor, just saying. You want to cast Preeti Chhibber as Ezra Bridger, go to town.
Hit him up!
Yes, do some fan art collaboration. Great question, Luther. I'm stoked to see the temple on Tython, but what condition is it in? Every time I've seen a Jedi temple, whether it's in Expanded Universe, whether it's in, what are you pointing down for?
It's in the pits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, every time they're ruins, basically. They're underground ruins that have like sunken down. I mean, Fallen Order. Hello. That'll be interesting though. Oh yeah, we haven't mentioned this in like 20 minutes. Oh, good. Obi-Wan Kenobi series. They do a flashback for Duchess Satine on Mandalore with young Bo-Katan. Like they've got to set up the scene because like they've got to prove that Obi-Wan had a relationship and nearly left the Jedi, the whole academy, everything to the Jedi Council to have a relationship with Duchess Satine. What do I want? To be cast as Duchess Satine.
Yes.
Just so I can make out with Ewan McGregor.
I mean, it's a worthy goal.
But I kind of look like Duchess Satine.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have that.
Let's be real. Corky is not Satine's nephew. Come on.
What?
The character Corky. Remember, she has like a nephew, and I'm like, that. Come on.
Oh.
Come on. That's her and Obi-Wan
I
child.
like erase that from my brain.
Yeah, that's that. I feel like that's her and Obi-Wan's child, but who knows?
Yes. Very much yes.
Poor
I
Finn.
do want that.
Ooh.
I've asked Sam to come on the show, and he goes,
Sam
say
Witwer.
anything, whether it's like, oh, this will be an exciting season. He goes, everything that he says gets taken out of context and then published 6 times. And I was like, that's just so hard because you're such a fan of this. And it's like, you can't even talk about it. And it's like,
It's like a caveat at the beginning to be like, nothing I say is real.
But everyone's waiting for anything, any kind of, I like this. Janina Gavanka could be really great.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Bring Janina in.
Yeah, get some cool like Battlefield type. Pew pew. She's good at that. Got a good fake British accent, Maud. I got a bad fake British accent. That's good enough for me. I like that. Let's actually have a chat through anything else. Oh, this little moment with this dude who tried to play sneaky. Wait, no, that's not it. I kind of liked the moment though, and this is what I think Dave does a really good job of: serious, build up, intensity, fight, humor.
Yes.
Yeah.
He gets the balance.
He literally understands the balance of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And he never forces laughter. What other moments did you really enjoy, or did you have like, oh, Dave, with directing?
I like the confirmation of Beskar versus lightsaber. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like getting to see straight up like what Beskar can do against a lightsaber. I thought was like that fight was really, really exciting.
When she
Yeah.
blocked it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Just a little history about Beskar. Apparently that was made, that metal resource, whatever, was made during the Mandalore Jedi wars that took place because they had to find weapons that could withstand lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it's in existence, but it's why it's such a precious commodity as a resource as well, which is like why also that spear was a priceless.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, money can't buy kind of thing. Yeah, there you go, Nick.
Right? It's so cool.
Mando's armor that brings it to a whole new level.
Right?
Totally ambush man. Ooh.
I will admit I forgot about
That's
that.
tight.
Boba Fett will totally ambush Mando and Baby Yoda on Tython. He will
Yes.
be the disruptor.
You think so? I feel like Boba Fett has no love for the Empire.
No,
I think he'll put a foil in their plans
the
doing that.
disruptor to Gideon's plan.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I see it.
I like
What
that.
about the loyalty will be between Mando and Boba?
I think Boba's out for himself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
100%.
And it'll be interesting to see Mando with another Mandalorian character and the differences there, like we saw with Bo-Katan and him. Maybe a couple more differences there with Mando and Boba.
Well, because Boba's not a Mandalorian.
Right. But he's sported the armor for so long.
He's sported the armor, but we don't know that he understands the connection to his armor, right? It's been so long since I've watched.
As well, where it's like something happens in Tatooine where you get stuck there for 19 years and you look 50 years older. But
to be fair, he did get sucked into a Sarlacc pit. So
yeah, he got slowly digested.
Pretty stressy situation.
But but it's like we're really wanting to piece together sort of what happened to Obi-Wan when he was like on Tatooine for that long watching over Luke. What was Boba Fett doing on Tatooine after he was crawling out of the Sarlacc pit? Like what kind of changes were made in their lives? What was going on? It is a harsh planet, Stephen Summers. Yes, it is. Boba and Rex.
Oh my God.
Clone Wars.
Wait. Wait, what?
Actually, my God, Nathan just totally explained why Tatooine ages people. It's got two
Two
sides.
cents.
Oh.
They don't have that UV protection.
Logic. You're just serving logic up here. Will Mando hate him because Boba's a clone?
Oh, that's an interesting thing. Although, it wouldn't... The clones were already... Hold on, I'm trying... Timeline, Star Wars timeline, I'm always like, when did she...
Right, what do we have? What? when did it happen again?
When did it happen?
This is a really good point from Mick Reese as well. The Beskar versus the Darks.
Well...
Need that showdown to happen.
I know. Would they have? Because why would they have created a saber that would cut through the thing? I don't know.
Because there's only one of them, and it's the
Right.
symbol of like power, unlimited power. Oh, we're talking about who else we want to see.
Ooh.
Hera and little. What's her kid's name? Jason. I can't remember Hera's kid's name.
Hera Syndulla's father gets an appearance in the book where Vader and the Emperor team up. Sith something. I read it.
I don't remember.
Right. It is Jason. There you go. Jason.
Thanks.
Hera. All these names. Jason.
Jason.
It's like Ben.
Yeah. Good point.
Right.
Jason.
You got Han, Leia, Ben.
Thank you.
We've got about a couple of minutes left. The first couple of things I want to talk about are what do you rate the episode comparatively to the rest of the season? And then, Preeti, I want to talk about your Star Wars books.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I would rate this episode out of what? Out of 10? Out of 4?
10. We do
Out of 10? To me, this was like a 10 out of 10. I loved it. I loved everything about it.
10.
Yeah. Due to the Star Wars bias of loving Ahsoka Tano, a Thrawn name drop, possibly Ezra Bridger, 10 out of 10. Easy.
I'm the same. I'm a 9.5 out of 10.
What's that half? What's stopping that 10?
I know. What's the 0.5?
I'm glad you asked. So I know that they are filming in a big soundstage in Long Beach. And I think that they're doing amazing things with the technology where they are projecting like massive screens so that they can create worlds within a room.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm noticing that.
Oh.
So the fog, I saw that like when they built this moment, that's a projection. That's a light. That's a screen there as well. I saw it in this one because see how like the light, it's very overcast. It's super clever, but I'm noticing it here. That sort of thing. Yeah.
Oh.
So that took me out of it slightly, but it was still backed with the appreciation of wow, they can do so much.
Mm-hmm.
They can do so much. McReese, I was unsure because I thought Ahsoka would sound weird, but I loved every second. 10 out of 10. Yeah, the illusion's been broken. I'm sorry. Luther, 10 out of 10. Would watch again for the 4th time.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Luther.
10 out of 10. Thierry's talking about future cameos. Apparently, Mace Windu
wow.
survived. He's just waiting for a cameo.
If Mace Windu shows up in The Mandalorian, I'm like, what?
Why not? It's the nerd effect. No one ever really does.
No one ever really dies.
No one ever really does. So obviously this is the best episode.
Oh no!
Oh,
Maud!
Maud!
She's gone! Well, yeah, this is the best episode of the series for sure. There we go. Woo!
If I press that little button,
I was
I'm
like, uh-oh.
I'm gone. Sorry about that, guys. Give us an Ahsoka show. I love that. That's cool. Yeah,
Please.
5 his plunge, the whole thing. But yeah, overall, this is
Again?
absolutely the best episode of the season so far. Hopefully, it builds with
Agreed.
consistency. Because Leo, around episode 1 and 2, we were like, cool, but what else? Come on. In saying that, though, I would love to talk about the books that you've got coming up. You've got Star Wars: The Clone Wars anthology, and you've also got A Jedi You Will Be. I'm going to grab images of that, but while I do, I would love to hear you talk about it.
Sure. They're both actually out in the world, so you can buy them if you want them. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Stories of Light and Dark is an anthology I did that are retellings of Clone Wars episodes, and I got to write Anakin Skywalker, which was basically one of the best things that's ever happened. They reached out, Lucasfilm reached out, and I think I just emailed the fastest because they were like, who would you want to write? And I was like, Anakin! And I think I just beat everybody else who was also in the antho. But I wrote about the episode called Hostage Crisis, but entirely from Anakin's perspective. And so we get some interiority and all of that. And then A Jedi You Will Be is a picture book that is a retelling of Yoda training Luke on Dagobah, and kind of for like kids like 6 to 8 years old. It's a very good Christmas present, just saying. It's
If
really
that's the
cute.
case, my mum will buy it for me because she's got a really bad habit of buying Star Wars books and then being kids books, and so I do read-alongs on my page.
You might get this one. But yeah, it's just Yoda talking to the reader about how to be a Jedi, and that was really fun because I watched those sequences like 8,000 times, and then like had to pull my version of the Jedi tenets from that, and then write a book around it. And the illustrations by Mike Dees
They're really cute.
so good.
Pictures coming up. One moment, please. But this is A Jedi You Will Be.
Oh, that's awesome.
Look at these moments.
A little Calvin and Hobbes look.
And then there it is.
Mm-hmm. And if you do the audiobook for Stories of Light and Dark, the stories are read by the actors of the show. In particular, Rebecca Rowanhorse's Maul story is read by Sam Witwer, and it's outstanding.
Damn, he's good. He's good. So these are the 2 books if you do want to get them. Preeti is a Star Wars author now, which is legit. Where can people kind of like not only buy those books, but find out more about you?
You can buy the books from bookshop.org, which will send you to an independent bookstore, which I love. And for me, you can follow me on Twitter is basically where I'm at all the time because I'm inside all the time. And it's Run with Skizzers, Skizzers. I didn't know it was going to be important when I signed up for it. It is my AIM screen name, and now it's my professional presence on the internet. But yeah, or PreetiChhibber.com is kind of where you can find all the updates.
Thank you so much. Hey, Leo, before we scoot out, where can people find you?
Come on over to Geekly Goods on YouTube. I'll definitely be covering Soul from Disney Plus very soon here. And then, just watching some movies, guys. Come on over. Enjoy some content.
And guys, if you haven't subbed yet, make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/geekbomb and the Twitch as well, where I do a bunch of streaming and gaming. Thank you so much, Preeti. I really appreciate your insight with this episode. What an episode to discuss. May the force be with you. This is the way. End broadcast.